Well, the Regis Arts Center on the University of Minnesota campus is, to me, a fascinating effort to turn a building into a piece of urban fabric.
Some people find it handsome, some find it schizophrenic. There's actually, I'd say, at least 4 personalities and 4 images that the center has. And for us, it starts because it's actually 2 buildings that are across the street. And our thought was, the worst thing we could do is make both those buildings look alike or be so conspicuously aligned that it would be too heavy in the district that were really collections of different diverse architecture. So what we did was look at the context, the rest of the arts venues, the performing arts, the music, the dance, and we drew the sensibilities of those languages of brick and lightweight stucco and large sections of glass and heroic support of the buildings, and took those attributes and put them in a bag and shook them up and added a few more things in it and, dumped it out on a table, and then, like a collage, arranged them in ways in which they create a kind of conversation with fragments and bits and pieces in order to actually pull the district together.
And they also conveyed the sense that as you're driving through, you feel like you're already kind of in the building. So the building draws you in and engages people in the display and making of art as you walk by. So they've made the building itself an educational experience.
In the arts, it is the tendering of relationships in exchanges and offering and receiving really the good grace of thoughtful colleagues that brings you to a point of being a candidate to basically design their house. My own interest and our broad interest as a firm was in complementary artists and designers working and thinking about parallel issues. We even started a group together of designers and artists that met once a month to share work, debate ideas that were in the work, etc. So these relationships didn't surface at the time there was a need for a building. They had been established much earlier. The owner of Regis, unbeknownst to me, was being courted as a donor, a lead donor for the building. And I had befriended him and actually helped him find a site for a sculpture he had bought. It's actually Frank Gehry's fish, large-scale fish that had been exhibited at the Walker. And he went and, without saying anything to me, in fact, keeping it a secret from me for months, contacted the dean of the college and said, "I'm just thrilled that you're really considering Marcia and Rockcastle, and Garth has been, really important to my thinking, and I want to make a lead gift to the building."
A very difficult site because they had a site divided by a road. And so how do you do one building that's essentially 2? Only MS&R could figure that out, I think. I think most architects would have been totally defeated by that problem.
Where arts education takes place, there is a congestion at the end of the semester when all of the graduating students, the BFA and MFA students, get windows of exhibition time. It has to occur at the end of the semester because it's the completion of that semester plus additional semester's work. It's the culmination prior to graduation. There's a tremendous congestion. Well, what we did was take the amount of space they had programmed for that and tripled it by making these rooms dissolve and transform, absorbing more comfortably, so that every graduating student had more space and more time in that space to exhibit and do the work that was so important. Increasingly, large-scale and multimedia works are being done in arts education. So we created a number of venues, and first of all, fully digitized the inside and outside of the building where you could access the high-speed internet and very fast cabling. All the bones in the front of the vestibule are open and tetherable. They're all made of the same hardware that scaffolding and the work in a performing arts stage are used. So affordable hardware and affordable connections and plugins all work from this same simple infrastructure. basically taking more of a theatrical and performance-oriented set of tools and infrastructure in a visual arts cultural setting, knowing that the hybridization of the arts was in need of this and heading in that direction. Again, it wasn't in the program, but we just knew the artists that are working there and some of the struggles and frustrations and dreams they had, and we provided these qualities in the building. We even designed the exterior of the building so that you could anchor up to, I think it was 150 pounds per square foot, you could tether to the building itself so it could act as an armature, and there was a regular spacing. These ideas weren't just magically coming from our creative minds. They were really coming from these relationships and the questions and the interactions and the challenges that artists are known for asking, and that we find benefits not only in serving them but thinking ourselves about architecture.
And I think this is one of the most amazing art school buildings anywhere in the world. I know of no other building that does what that building does.
The first impression meets your expectations for grandeur, but if you come back to that same space a couple times, you're going to actually find it to be quite different, because it's constantly being intervened on by artists and people using the space for free play and expression and interaction.